welcome back. It's time. Once again, you have returned to the Comics Coffee Table. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. We talk about comic books daily, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Tune in, like, and subscribe. You will eventually learn how to tell time. I guarantee you. Your notifications will go off. You'll be like, it must be 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. The show is on. That's right. We are all welcome here at the coffee table. I started this show off using a hardcover coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends about 20 years ago. It was a 365 days book. A great excuse to talk about comic books once a day, every day, all year long. We're continuing that tradition we're not stopping. We're not. We're going to focus on the magazine itself, the individual comic book, also known as the floppy. It's perhaps my favorite part of being a comic book collector or an accumulator and a big fan of it. It's been a big part of my life, all of my life. And it will continue to be so as long as I stay in love and stay interested and want to be part of it and keep finding new titles that I'm willing to spend my money, my time, my attention, and my physical space for. I'm running out of space. It's time to reevaluate my comic book collection to see if maybe I could even sell a chunk or two to somebody interested. And how would I get a fair value for that? I figured out that at work, I'm a tradesman. I'm a professional chef, a line cook, a union chef. I've been in the hospitality industry for 30 years or more, actually. And I know a thing or two, but I'm always learning about my trade. Well, guess what? I'm always learning about my hobby as well. I'm a comic fan. It's not just big two superhero stories, which are the biggest part of my superhero love. I mean, my comic book love. Yet it's about publication. It's about printing. It's a magazine. It's a monthly. They're frail. They need to be well maintained. So the focus of this show, we're going to be using these two books the rest of the year. My parents gave this to me for Christmas. These books for Christmas. I was like, oh, awesome, just what I wanted. Gift cards. And so I dedicate this year to my parents, my stepdad and my mom. And this is the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide, the most current edition. The glossary in this is magnificent. And I've learned so much about something I thought I already knew a lot of. Indeed. This, too, it's like its sister publication. This came out in 2021. This is the latest edition of How to Grade Comic Books by Overstreet. Now there's a lot to it. There are like 25 criteria in a 10-point grading scale, and so very near mint would be 10.0, and very sloppy bad would be like a 0.5 or something. Yet in between is a spectrum, and each one of these little attributes affects the value of your collectible. Yeah, and I'm really happy to be learning with you and from you. You remain the most important ingredient in the recipe of our show. This conversation that we're continuing to have. We're also going to be revisiting January of the book that we used last year. Okay, The Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 Days. We used this book all last year. It's a 365 days book. We just open up to today's date, January the 13th. We look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We would read the blurb, and then we would talk about comic books. And then I'd start banging on the book like, we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year in some kind of Shakespearean iambic pentameter. But look at the corner. I mean, I've abused this book, haven't I? But we've given it a second life and a new love. I mean, And heaven help me, if it always falls apart, I can get another one. Speaking of, there is a link in the description to all 3 of these publications, to their Amazon pages. You can get your own copies. You can play along at home. And this makes a great gift for a geek. Seriously, this is an 2004 Abrams book, written and curated by Les Daniels, Chip Kidd, and photographed by Jeff Spear. And because, our show I feel like our show is just caught on and catching its stride. So there might have been a lot of people who missed last year's episode. On January 13th, 1 year ago today, I made a 5-minute and 56-second video that got 3 views. Three? Remember Glorious Bastards? Yeah, so I think we're going to do better today with this same material. We're just going to, and I call it the January redo. We're going to ditch this book eventually. I'm so blessed to have had it in the first place and got the idea to, this is going to inspire a lot of daily comic book conversation, comic book shop-style conversation, the kind we used to have going to ye old funny book bodega. And I'm so blessed to have a great comic book shop in my village square where I can get weekly comic books every Wednesday. And the mission of the show is to get you to your local comic book shop so you can buy supplies. I need to buy better bags. I need Mylar bags. I made a mistake. So, should I even be using these? They're gonna get used. I'll use them on the, on something that's a little bit like of a lesser quality. I'll run through these. I'll find a use for them. I got some boards. They're one-sided glazed boards or something, or coated one side, and hopefully those are the acid-free ones that I was required to get. And this is a short box. You've heard of the long box? I have plenty of them. I've got several of them. They're all full. They all weigh about 50 or over pounds. And the older we get, the heavier they get. So I'm going to be redoing them into the short boxes this time around. As you can see, these are boards, but those are funny books. And it's already like about halfway full. And so I'm going to need a few more. And I'm going to need a definite plan. Also in filing, I need to be doing some DC. I need to keep the Marvels, of course, apart. I also have a lot of Image comics. I got a decent amount of Dark Horse comics. And I also have a unique filing system for my Crisis comics, these DC universe, multiverse comic books that have been going on since about 1985, and it's about, they're my favorite. So I have so many issues that are tie-in issues that fill in the gap between, in this major event that shouldn't they be filed alphabetically, but numerically, by volume with the rest of their issues? I think, so I'm going to return to a more traditional, by volume, alphabetically and numbered. I get that partially done. See, the Crisis Long Box is done chronologically and creatively, and it was a labor of love. I did that. I love my Crisis Long Box, but it's having its own midlife crisis, and it needs a little husbandry. Husbandry being like the art of knowing how to take care of a horse, or agriculture, or to curate, to protect, curate, and to preserve, and to perpetuate. It's a great word, and I apply it here with this show and this intent. Let's look at last year. Let's look at the book real quick. And thank you for showing up today. Me and Pika is our executive producer. Drinka is our cameraman and boom operator. That's, the Critical Drinker plushie. If you like action adventure books in the Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy you're going to love. Look up Will Jordan. His books are great. And he's a really entertaining YouTuber. It is January the 13th. This is art by Bernard Bailey from Adventure Comics, issue number 72. March of 1942. Welcome to Rex, TikTok Tyler, and the Hour Man. Dun dun dun! It could be an allegory for steroids. This is definitely an individual who has got a superiority due to performance-enhancing drugs. Yes, but it was all done in the name of vigilante justice. Let's learn a little bit more about Rex TikTok Tyler, the Hour Man, one of the founding members of the Justice Society of America. A big-time superhero like Batman lives in a mansion, waiting to be summoned to the scene of a crime by the bat signal, a gigantic searchlight planted atop police headquarters for his convenience. Do you? Yeah, you see the bat signal? You see the bat signal there, and you see the signal in the sky? That's Gotham City. Yes, that's my Lego Gotham skyline. It is. He was a huge Lego fan. Oh, from like 2015 to 2020. Yeah, I put my toys away. Well, some of them. Alrighty. However, a small-timer, for instance, Hour Man was obliged to work in a drugstore all day and then hang around downtown at night, hoping to find a felony taking place right in front of him. Sounds like gotcha moments on social media. Jeez, when does he get to sleep? I mean, geez, he's got a day job. I mean, it's kind of like being a YouTube creator as well. I mean, I have a day job, and then you get invites for live chats and in shows you want to be on, and then you got to make your daily content on top of that. Yeah, I'm starting to feel for this guy, Hour Man. Hoping to find a felony taking place right in front of him. Gotcha moments. This story opens with Hour Man spending the evening in an alley, which the text inflates to part of his nightly patrol in an unceasing war against crime. And the gotcha moments today are on an unceasing war against thought crime, or your people that don't agree with you. Or let's not go there. We don't talk about that stuff on this show. There's plenty of other content creators who do that. We know, I know you from their live chats, probably, and I'm fans of them too. I do share this outrage and this sense of scorn and futility. But you know what? That's a different show for a different day on a different channel. And this show is going to concentrate on what's working and what works best for us as fans. And that is escapism. And that is leaving behind the world's problems just for a few moments in a day. And then we can get back to our lives. So let's see. On an unceasing war against crime. Since he has powers for only an hour and only a few pages to complete an adventure, Hour Man's faith in coincidence will inevitably turn out to be fully justified. So he pops a pill and he goes out searching for crime. Interesting. Well, and that's it for Rex Tyler today. Yeah, that was last year's content. Got 3 views. No wonder why. And but what I wanted to do today is the importance of taking care of your comic books. I started off this week a little earlier talking about, I was a guest on Wakazashi's Tea House. Gray had us on last Sunday. That we had Wes from Thinking Critical, and Jim from Weird Science Comics, and myself in a nice 4-person panel. We spoke for 2 hours. Then the top comics, our top 5 comics of 2022. This comic book came in at number 5, and it's a little glib. And I'm not doing it to disrespect its creators, its writer, its artist, its cover artist, or anything. And then I find out during this podcast that this is actually a quality example of the lack of quality at Marvel Comics, of the cheaper paper stock that they're using, and that what happened to me happened to lots of other customers. And I felt really bad, but now only my badness feels so much. I don't know. I'm going to keep it in the bag and preserve it, because this was my 5th part. Now, this was a terrible story. in my humble opinion. The art was okay. I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm looking at the narrative box. It just really doesn't work for me. I heard that this did not change a darn thing as an event, that it was just wheel spinning, money spending, and variant covers and everything. But sorry. But this book came in at number 5 because, I mean, I must have rolled it up and put it in my back pocket. You've seen me abuse this book a couple of times since it's come into, like, you know, since it got ruined. But I meant it as a learning moment. You know, my number 5 comic was this because of the learning moment involved. I spent, what, $5.99 on this magazine? Do you think, according to the 25 criteria of the 10-point grading system of the Overstreet Price guy, where do you think this could? Use your imagination, even without knowing the scale. I mean, where would this fit? I mean, this could be fixed, I guess. I mean, maybe there's some kind of, maybe I can put some crazy glue and match up the staples. But I've heard that, like, yeah, the staples pop on this thing, and this that's been a very common complaint with the most recent of Marvel comics. The quality is awful. But so I will, you know, this is a good example for me. Take care of your funny books. Seriously. So I'll put it back into a bag. I mean, it's already ruined. It can only get more and more ruined. I mean, and like I said, this is not about any of its creators. No. I got this issue specifically because Wes from Thinking Critical, thank you, Wes, hey buddy, who gave me my nickname, the Sultan of Soup, had me on his show, and we were covering this. So this is one of the first issues that, you know, being invited on Wes's show and being invited back regularly got me going to the comic book store regularly, so I had something to contribute to the conversation and not be ignorant about what we're talking about. Sometimes we talk about creators I've never even read, so I abstain from those conversations and opinions. I don't have anything to say because I haven't experienced that. And but yeah, this was a learning moment. I mean, yeah, I'm very disappointed in myself for letting this funny book, this $6 magazine, you know, go to crap like that. But also, what's getting bagged today? Oh yeah, we have a bag. We have a funny book. And it's about grading. So I wanted to bring up an example of a poorer grade comic book. Yes, we had some Flash comic books the other day, and they're pristine. They're almost 30 years old. I mean, I don't know how you would grade them. I would grade them over an 8.0 or above. I mean, I didn't see any flaws or any dings. A ding, I would say, what's a ding? Like, you know, think of like a little dent on your bumper. I mean, that's a ding. You know what I mean? A little scratch, a blemish. And if that's or if there's a better word to be using, clue me in. Last thing, people are just so bloody oversensitive these days. I mean, just like you could say something innocently and then someone's like, you. That's from an Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978, Donald Sutherland. That's yeah, everyone knows that one. Well, we have a lot of younger viewers apparently, according to the analytics. So if you want to see a movie that's 100% allegory for today and what to be scared of, I guess, 1978's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, wonderful movie. But this issue here is filled with flaws. I got this in a Bronze Age grab bag. 4 issues for $10. So I basically paid $2.50 for this issue, in a way. Okay? And while we're at it, let's look up through the CPI inflation calculator what The cover price, 75 cents. And it's March 1984. Cover price would be $2.18 as of November 2022. I use the CPI inflation calculator from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. I should put that into the show notes as well in the description, so you can use this resource on your own and be like, okay, so if I spent 75 cents in 1983 on this, or 1984 rather on this, this would have been December of 83 or January of 84, 11 years old, and I would have got this height of the this would have been right at the end of the Copper Age. Right at the end of the Bronze Age of comics, and the beginning of the Copper Age. But these has, they talk about page whiteness, OWL, overall whiteness level of a page. That means have the pages faded, the inside pages, not the cover pages, which are of a different cover stock. That's of cover stock. This is page stock, But look at these, to examine it, like how many little defects can you see? Look at that corner, right down there. Look at that spine. It's all cracked, Look at look at that corner over there by the price and the seal, Comics Code seal. I mean, can you see the wrinkles? Can you see the tear there? Above the Masters of the Universe video game. Can you see the corner over here? It's a little. It's folded over. Yeah, I mean, just that there's so many little things, and then you have inside, such as here. What are those? What's up with those little dots there? Those are little rips, So this book, we are going to use our reader cheaters. Oh gosh. I don't want to say that. Damn. This is Tech. This is Tech 536. Detective Comics. Detective Comics 536. If it was a 9.2, it would be worth $10. Now, a 2.0 would be worth $1. A VG, very good, a 4.0 would be $3. An 8.0 would be $6. And so it goes in that scale. But, so, would this be a 4.0 comic book? Perhaps. Yeah, very, because the GD rating, that 2.0 rating, that sets for a really trashed. I mean, that's. We'll get to that in examples of that. Actually, maybe let's look at that right now. Darn, we're out of time. We are. Hey, everybody. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So we'll get back to the grading system and examples of what the numbers look like. This book is just filled with pages and pages of, let's look at a 4.0 real quick. Like we said, the 2.0 is worth $1. It's like, maybe this was a 2.0. I mean, because it just points out all these little things, like loose chips, a braided area, rounded corner. Wow. Could this be a 2.0? And a 4.0, yeah, has less. So this isn't really wrecked. This is like a readable copy. We're going to get more and more into that in the the rating scale as the year goes on. And well, thank you so very much for tuning in today. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. If I can make the live chat at the 3 p.m. US, at the 3 p.m. US Eastern premiere, I will if I can. It's so good to see everyone out there enjoying the show and enjoying this great conversation about comic books. These comic book shop style conversations we have here at our very own virtual coffee table. This is the Comics Coffee Table. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you again in those funny pages tomorrow. Cheers. Bye-bye.